All right. I believe we're live. So today we're going to be discussing very briefly in about 8 minutes Charlottesville, Virginia. It's got an open waiting list. And look, anytime you're leaving the winter to spring and you have an opportunity to apply for a voucher, it's always a good time to do so. So today I want to talk to you about this waiting list, what you need to do, where you need to go. And we only have about 24 hours more before it closes. So I'm a little bit late to this. Before I get started, I'm going to make a few introductions. I am Jay Roulette with the Section 8 Consultant.com. We work with clients up to 1,000 a year. We're helping them navigate the system and housing and deal with housing vouchers and so on. If you're struggling out there and you've been unable to find housing and you're dealing with issues related to vouchers and other respective problems, then if you've exhausted all your efforts and you're tired of sleepless nights, then it might be worth reaching out to a consultant. For that, you can reach out to us through section8consulting.com. Our information will be in the comments section as well as the description of the video, okay? All right, let's get on to the primary information you guys don't want to know. So, Charlottesville Redevelopment Housing Authority, which is in Charlottesville, Virginia, is got an open waiting list till the 7th. I would advise strictly right after this video that if you haven't applied, that you should do so. A few things you need to know. CRHA Housing Choice Voucher waiting list will be open as of April 3rd. So it's been open 3 days. And it opened 3 days ago at 9 a.m. And it'll run through Friday, April 7th till 4 p.m. So you have until 4 p.m. tomorrow to get your pre-application. Let's make a distinction. Most housing authorities do pre-applications as a process of elimination. In other words, they're trying to figure out certain things about you, mostly income and other issues, because a lot of people do apply that are not relevant to whether or not they get the voucher. Now, does this come with portability? Yes. And are vouchers a lifetime situation? Absolutely. Unless you violate the lease, you commit crimes, or you decide to abandon the unit. Otherwise, you would likely have this voucher for as long as you remain qualified as a low-income person. The requirement is 50% of the median area income. If the people of Charlottesville are making $100,000 a year on average, then they would expect you to be low income at $50,000 or less. The Housing Choice Voucher waiting list will accept the pre-applications, and what will typically happen there is after they get pre-applications, if you go into the primary application, they'll build in preferences. Are you old? Are you a senior? Are you a veteran? Are you disabled? Whether or not you have an issue of maybe domestic violence, whether or not you're facing imminent homelessness. And let me give you some clarity about homelessness. You don't need to live under a bridge. I mean, this may be a situation where rent has become unaffordable, and by virtue of loss of money or income, or even being on fixed income, where your rent's unaffordable now, that could put you in a position of imminent homelessness versus all of our concepts and what we see in the news. The pre-application should be for the head of household. Let me make some clarities and distinctions in regard to that. It's the composition of the household. It really doesn't matter who in the family is applying, okay? You don't necessarily have to have the senior apply or the disabled. As long as somebody in the home has somebody that has a problem, then it would qualify. So if they're looking at preferences, they're going to be looking at the whole composition of the household. Now, these pre-applications are available online only. It's a super long link, and I did put it in the description. That's to help you, because a lot of housing authorities are pretty nefarious about having you roll through 5 or 6 different pages, and it's not clear where to apply or even how to apply. So what I've done is I've navigated through all the nonsense, and then I got you to shoot you directly to the application process. To apply online, again, the deadline is going to be 4 p.m. the 7th at portal.cvillerha.com. I'd recommend using the longer link that I've included in the description so you can skip past it, because it requires you to go through an additional 3 pages. You must register. And let's be clear. Anytime you want to apply for vouchers, I know many people are secretive about their information. These people will ask you your name, your address, driver's license, Social Security. You have to give that. If you're not going to give it, they're not going to do business with you. The feds are not going to fund vouchers for people. They're going to remain anonymous, okay? There'll be no paper pre-applications will be available or accepted. However, I don't believe that to be factually true, because anybody that needs a accommodation or a modification, in other words, they're blind, then they would have to make that available, or they'd have to accept the application verbally over the phone, okay? So I don't believe that that's applicable under federal law. To request a reasonable accommodation, of course, they put that right below it. Please submit your written request on or before 4/7. So actually, that's a pretty neat little loophole right there, because if you submitted and you could somehow date that request with a tracking number, then you could potentially apply even after the deadline. The request to mail would be the Charlottesville Redevelopment Housing Authority, attention HCV waiting list pre-application, 715 6th Street, Southeast Charlottesville, Virginia, 22902. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't recommend you do it that way. I would recommend you email the request to the email that I've given below, or give them a call if you have problems with your site or other situations where you would need a combination. Now, submission of the pre-application does not guarantee a family spot on the waiting list, and due to the high level of interest in this open waiting list, CRHA will process and complete all applications. And to be clear, there is never a fee to apply for any rental assistance program operated by Charlottesville Redevelopment Housing Authority. So let's make a distinction there. Even our company doesn't charge people for applications and so on. That's illegal. Okay, that's why I'm a consultant. That's why you see my face as versus the many websites that are faceless and nameless, with websites leading back to Russia and China. They know that people in desperation will give out all the private information, and of course they will steal your identity. That's far from what we do. So I'm going to jump right back to the video here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and link up real quick some more information for you guys to help you out. And it'll be up in just a minute. All right, so I've got that link in the main description for you guys if you want to utilize that. Again, guys, if you get an opportunity to apply. Now, one thing I want to make clear about portability. Look, when something's federally funded, especially vouchers, anybody in the nation can apply anywhere they wish to. It wouldn't matter if you lived in Florida and you applied for a New York waiting list. They have to accept the application. Yes, the housing authority will say, oh, well, we give a special preference for those that work and live there. Look, when it comes to people that are disabled and seniors and veterans and so on, the preference for you to work and live there is so low, the amount of points you'd get for that you could easily live in any other part of the country. And if you had this other factor to discuss, it would easily defeat that. In other words, you probably have a better chance not actually living there, because those that are seniors, disabled, or imminently homeless would categorically rank much higher on the list in consideration. The only time that's not true is when you have a situation of a lottery where they're not considering any preferences, and it's just as random as you buying a scratch off and hoping to win $1 million. Okay. Beyond that, I've included our company information. Look, let's be very clear. After 22 years of doing this, often with clients, we end up going through 20, 30, 25, 50 different housing authorities to get even three opportunities. Okay. Hanging your hat on dealing with one housing authority is a terrible idea. Let me tell you why. Because if you don't get picked, then you're going to wait again when they reopen in 8 to 15 years. Nobody's got time for that. That's why it's important to pour across as many counties and states that host the housing authority, and there are approximately 2,800. Okay, because if you're really going to put one egg in one basket, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Okay, as of right now, they've only had 3,000 applicants, so I can say that Charlottesville, Virginia, in my opinion, it'd be easier to get a voucher there than probably any of the other practical states, especially on the East Coast and the West Coast, with only an exception to the Midwest. Okay. Well, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you this morning. I'm going to give you a quick update about the cats. So we had 2 litters of cats by incidents, kittens, I should say. And many of you know through the more than 800 videos that I've made, I often include a little bit of my personal life. And so for those that didn't know, we have a Siamese, and she had, and I'm excited to tell you all this, actually. She had an albino. It was a snow white kitten, and it's extremely rare. Siamese come in caramel and black and white. Never do you hardly ever get mutation where they're strictly just white. So we got a white Siamese. with crystal blue eyes. And it's a kitten now. Hopefully she'll be moving around in the next month or two, and then I'll show you. And then our other cat, Miss Busybody, she that's what I call her. She's always doing things. Her litter of 4 kittens is doing great. So again, guys, if you have no compassion or care towards animals and you're not a pet lover, then you won't like this channel. I would advise going over to Sally's channel. She talks about how she's an expert at fidget spinners and baking cakes, and then maybe on a Friday she's an expert at Section 8 housing. Who knows? Okay. I'm an actual real consultant. I don't entertain on YouTube. I try to educate. And in this case for today, we're really just making an announcement. So Kim Glover, thanks. And glad you're here on the channel. I'm a very proud papa of a bunch of kittens now, 9 in total. And for those that also don't know, I have an additional 23 rescue cats, many of which were between 17 and 24 years old. These are cats that otherwise would have been put down for injuries and other things, and we give them a forever home. All right, guys. Again, I want y'all to have a good morning, and we'll see you again in a couple of days. And I'm going to talk again about disability and some of the factors that are included in that and how it affects the outcome of your cases, especially under Title 24 and the 2008 Disability Act. Okay? All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.